Hey everybody, it's me Kyle. Welcome back to episode 6 of the NFT Maker Diaries series. We're getting good. We're getting a lot of the way through this, and last time we looked in depth again at metadata. We're going to absolutely finish that today with a little bonus I like to call rarity checking. Next thing, after that, we're going to create the initial parts of the images. All that layering I've already talked about in episodes 3 and 4. We're going to put that into practice now. We're going to build it. So first of all, actually, before we get started, I want to say a big thank you to NFT Maker Pro for making this series possible. You guys are awesome. Let's get into it. Okay, so first thing you want to do, unlike me, you want to comment out this code here because you've probably already done it and you've probably already ran it like we did last time and you'll have a full file. I didn't, I just hit run by accident. And then I've had to wait for it to run again. So not great. So yeah, comment that out. Use your speech marks before and after. And then we're now going to be doing stuff in pandas. So just pause it here. This is how I personally like pandas to be set up so that it prints out how I like it. You don't have to do this. It's not necessary, but it helps me. Anyway, coming down to the bottom then. First bit of code we're going to write is we're going to, first of all, check for the count of the rows, and we're going to check, well, we kind of don't need to do that because we know the count, but I'll show you anyway. And we're going to check for the for any duplicates. All right, so here's how we do that. First thing then, we say df, so that means data frame equals pd.read csv, and then as you know, we're going to give it that file, which is BooCrewDiaryList.csv. And what we're saying here is data frame equals pandas.read, so read this file. And the first thing we're going to say is row count equals df number. So what we're doing there is we're just checking for one thing. We're going to, you could pick any column, but we'll just pick number for now. And then we'll do .count, and then we'll print the number of rows is like this, and then we're going to add that on the string value of row count, just like that. So now we've got that code in there. That's good. Next thing, we're going to check for duplicates, and the way we do that is by doing this. So we're going to say duplicate row set my names are always awful is equal to our data frame df. So within our data frame, we're going to say our data frame again dot duplicated, which is a method, and then we're going to give it one column initially, and we're going to put the column in as TOD. Okay, so this is going to give us something, and what I'll do, I'll just do a quick print there, print duplicate row set like that. That's give us every row that's a duplicate, and obviously that's every row. So yeah, not ideal. So what are we going to do to change that? Okay, so we're going to grab all of these rows here up to Lil Boo because we don't care about the others. We're just looking for duplicates in our actual metadata, and then we drop that in there. My mistake, I've just like that. And then if we hit run again, we should be able to see that there are indeed none. You can see it's empty data frame. So there we go. And that's really good. Now we could test that by, if we want to be really quick and thorough, we can just quickly grab a couple of rows. So let's just duplicate those super fast, drop them in, run it again. And you can see, there you go, there's the duplicate. So let's just undo that. And we're done. Perfect. Next then, we want you to be able to count and check that all of your rarity tiers that you've already done are actually correct. So if we go up here, you can see body type. I expect that to be 50-50. Body color, I expect it to be, say, about 28%, 22%, 20%, 15%, 10%, and then 5% like that, okay? So how are we going to do that? Well, first of all, we're going to come back down and we're going to type this. So here we go. We're going to use group by. So we're going to do dfg, which is going to be data frame grouped, equals df dot group by and then we're going to say, so the by in the group by equals time of day in this case, and then we're going to do dot count like that. And then just to check it, we're going to print dfg.sort, whoops, and then again by equals to number. All right, so that's going to be, so that should be sort values like this. Now then, if we run it, bosh, you can see what this is showing us is for time of day, we've got these instances here, these stats. All right, now what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to type this out really quick and I'm going to fast forward it so we can get an example of each, and all we're going to do is basically do that again for all of these. So I'll see you really shortly. Super fast mode, here we go. And then we run that, and then bosh, you should be able to see we've now got counts for everything. So first thing we want to check, Lil Boo, we knew that we wanted those to be about 90-10, and if we scroll up to the method we have for Lil Boo, which in fact we can probably, we can search that. So we say Lil Boo, rand Lil Boo, you can see less than 9 equal to 9. So indeed 10%, and we've got 80% there and 12%. So perfect. The other example I gave was body color. And if you remember, I went through, let's keep scrolling guys, and we should be able to see, here you go. So I'll just change that a little bit for you. There we go, perfect. So you can see here, red, that's a 5% gap. That's about a 10% gap, and we've got about 10% there. Remember, we've got 10,000 in total. So 500 is 5% of 10,000. And the other thing as well is just ignore these other rows, other columns. You know, they're not relevant to what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to check it. What you can do though is, if you find you don't like, actually red's a bit too rare there, you can see that and make a change. Maybe you actually, now I've seen it, I don't like how rare that is. Or you might have made a mistake which you need to adjust. For example, here you can see castle is actually a bit too rare. And, you know, if I go in here, you'll see that's because, well, first of all, to get a castle, the castle is only at night time. All right, so you can see for this method here, you put in the background type, and the only time you can get a castle look is if it's night, which is already only about a 17% chance. And then within that 17% chance, there's only about a 20% chance you're going to get a castle. Hence, it's really quite rare. And you can see that's matched across here as well too, with the throne room. All right, you see that? So you can see this is between 0 and 9, so less than 7. So for this one, which means that 7, 8, and 9 will give you a throne room. That's 30% because there's 3 of them. So 7, 8, and 9 are 3 numbers. And then, yeah, so that's 30% of the chance. Have you already landed on night? If we scroll up, you can see here, I'd actually set the chance of night to be between 83 and 100, which is about 17. And there you go. You can see how that's why night was rare. And then subsequently, if you can only get it at castle, have it be night, that's how it goes. So what I'd encourage you to do, all of your metadata, go through it like this, have a check. And really, this is what is going to separate your project and make sure that it goes smoothly, okay? You know, we're reasonably, we're super, super early, guys, okay? But I think it's so important to put the time in, and this is what I did with my project. I really put a lot of hours into checking things worked how I expected them to, okay? You know, you're fully out there to try new things. Hell, the whole thing is us trying new things, right? But people do expect a certain level of quality in the drops, and of the things you can control, you should always try and make sure they work correctly. Okay, so this is something you can make sure is correct and how you want it, so why not take the time to do it? And that's why I've given you this part of the tutorial. Now we're here though. The only other thing I'll really add is you may want to have another look at that method which generates it. So if you remember before, this code generates our list, and you can see our numbers are, if I just scroll up, you can see here they are, BooCrew A9. All right, maybe you want that to look something like BooCrew A. I'll just type it for you so you can see. Maybe you want it to look like this: BooCrew A00009. All right, so maybe you should write a little method that can convert numbers into strings with digits on it. That's what I did. We've now reached the end of the specific metadata creation part. So the next bit, we're going to actually be generating the images based on the metadata. So I hope you'll enjoy me in that, and I'll see you in the next clip. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody. First thing you want to check for is you want to import this library here called Pillow or PIL or PIL. So many P sounds. Anyway, import that, okay? Again, if you're not sure how to do it, you want to be using the pip library. So pip, install, and then PIL. Right? That's that easy. Or check any other tutorial on YouTube. Once you've done that, come back down here and then comment out most of that stuff we already did, but not here. Okay, we'll leave this in. What we're going to do is we're going to put a new method in called create single boo image, right? Like that. Now we've got a few choices here. We could either do something like this, so give it variables called time of day, background, like that. But the way we're going to do it is we're going to use pandas to iterate through the CSV, convert each row to an array, give this an array, and then we're just going to simply set the variables inside the method to each number in that row. Okay, so you remember how we did it here? We're literally just saying like column 5. Well, we're going to do it the same way. So let's do that. So all we'll say here is array in. So that just signifies the array that we're going to put in. And apologies, I forgot to write def there. How embarrassing. Array in. So first of all, what we're going to say is super fast typing. You can skip this bit. I'm going to type really fast. Okay, so I've just set these variables up quick for each part there. You can see we got 0 through 10. And now I'm going to give these all the proper names. So file names, the first one, then we got number. And I'm using caps to distinguish them. Time of day, background, body type. Okay, now we've done that. I've just deleted that bit here because I was using it to reference. And now what we've done is we've got this ready here. One other thing in here, I also created a method that gave us that zeros in the name. And I made another one which actually gets us a folder that ticks through. My computer's a bit old, so I'm splitting them into 10 folders. You probably don't need to do that, to be honest. And I'm looking forward to getting my new one, which will be here soon. And these tutorials might even be able to get better than they already are. I hope you're enjoying them, by the way. And honestly, I really appreciate this audience. And yeah, thank you. It's been really fun making this. Anyway, right, what we now want to do is essentially just leave that alone for a second. And what we want to do now is work out a method to get out an array. So we're going to go back down here and we're going to say our row equals df, and then we're just going to put 0 in, and then we're going to see what we'll do, we'll put a print statement in here just to check some stuff. We'll say we'll print a few things at random. So number, we'll have background, we'll have mouth, and we'll have eyes. Okay, and then we're going to say create single boo image, our row. Oops, our row, like that. I've just ran that, and we've got an error. So what's this all about then? Interesting. So honestly, this is one of the hardest things to get the hang of with pandas. And so what you need to be doing is use something called iLock. So this is saying index location 0. And if we run this, and then I'll do a quick test to see, you can see that's now worked. Now, okay, I did deliberately do the error. All right, I can hear you. This guy's, he don't know what he's doing. All right, I put that in there on purpose just to show you, well, to draw your attention to it, okay? Because if you get the mindset with this wrong, it's just going to cause you bother that you don't want. So anyway, we've now got a method that we can read a single row of our CSV file. We can give it to another method, and now all we've got to do is get it to draw something. So let's get that out of the way. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say, oops, base ghost, oops, equals image dot open. All right, and now all we need to do is give it a location. Now, if you remember right, we put all our sources in here, and the first one is going to be background, and then we've got the time of day and the image. All right, so we're just going to build that query up, and the way we're going to do that is, first of all, we're going to say sources, and you can see it even suggests it for us because it's that lovely, slash, and then we're going to say plus the time of day, because you can see here the first layer is that's really silly, sorry, sources background, like that, and then slash again, and we're going to then go into the time of day layer, which will be this variable, plus slash, and what we're doing is we're building a string which points to a directory, and then plus the actual background variable, like that. Right, finally, then we're going to say plus dot png, like that. Easy peasy. Next thing we're going to say, we're just going to call this layer initially because it's just to demonstrate something, and then equals again image dot open, and then we want to make this be the next layer that we want. So again, sources, and the next thing we need to draw is the body. All right, so same again, let's just hide that and open up the body. So we want to say sources slash body slash again plus body, oops, body type plus slash again, and then finally plus body color plus dot png, like that. And then the last thing is we're going to use, this is where the pillow library really comes in handy, is we say base ghost dot paste, all right, layer 0, 0, so that's the coordinate. So remember, we drew everything as the same size, so if we paste it, it will go straight on the top. We don't need to give it any special coordinates or really think about that. And then finally we say mask equals layer. All right, last thing, then we say base ghost dot show, like that. And if we've done this correctly, when I run it, we should see some magic. So here we go. Aha, there you go. That's the first two layers done. So we've got that background, and you should see, remember, we gave it the first row, which should be a field gold at night, and I believe that's a translucent green. Scrolling up, dusk, field gold, translucent green, boo. There you go, perfect. Now if we pick another row, Remember, Boo number 1 is actually row 0 in this case. 10, which would be row 9. So we've got, let's do a daytime one actually, and it's red. So this should be obvious. So daytime, field red, cheeky Halloween. Okay, easy peasy. So white rabbit. Right, so we're looking for a red boo in the day in a field. Right. So if we now give it, I think that's going to be row 8. Well, it's going to be, yeah. There you go. Red translucent in the day. Perfect. There you go. All right, guys. So you've now got the main tools you're going to need, both to generate the metadata and the art. The only thing I've not shown you yet is how to actually save these images, but it's very few additional lines of code. However, I'm going to cover that in the next tutorial, which is going to be finishing up all the art, and then we're going to get onto the APIs and really start working with NFT Maker Pro. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this really useful, and most of all, I hope you've had as much fun as I have creating this. Thank you very much. From me, Kyle, the Boo Crew, and NFT Maker Pro. Have a good evening.